Falls, Freedom, Rising Appalachia, Freedom, Walk On by Corinne Bailey Ray, More Life, More Blessings by Nathaniel Shalom, Energy by Sampa the Great, and Cleo Soul Sunshine. And so we are at 404-523-8989 for those who may care to communicate with us. Otherwise, I am grateful for 25 years on air and realizing, I'm gonna let you know, people die. You understand? People die. And they're dying every day. And you all are grieving. You're grieving. And some of you don't even realize that you're grieving. And you're not only grieving for the death of the ones that were close to you, the husbands, the wives, the children, and whatnot. You're grieving because you're not living in the light of the truth of yourself. And that grieving puts you in a place and space where you are smoking, drinking, getting high, doing all kinds of things. It's still grief. Because you are not rejoicing in the blessedness of your being. And I'm here to remind you that you are blessed with each and every breath and every beat of your heart. And it's time for us to really show up and show out. Because the intention is to make sure that we're depressed. You understand why? Because when we're depressed, we smoke more, we drink more, we go get pharmaceuticals. They got us on Paxil and this and that and the other. And I'm just saying, it's like when you got truckers that are taking drugs while they're driving, then they're smoking and they're on coffee and whatnot. You know, you see you getting clipped by 18-wheelers. I'm just saying, it's like we're taking unnecessary risk with our lives. And I'm here to remind you that you are worthy and deserving of the fullness of your life, the gift, the blessedness, the intelligence, the wisdom. But you have to care. Being in a system that is intentionally undermining its people, unintentionally undermining itself. So where these ones and those ones were on a world conquering rampage, and then it became a war on drugs, and it's a war on cancer, and it's a war on here, and it's a war here and war here. And I'm saying you all and them all cannot fight the intelligence of existence. You will be humbled by it. You understand? Because there's absolute law, and the law is in the exertion of your will to live. And to live lawfully, to live in the love of the peace, of the truth, of the knowing that you are a part of something that is so magnificent, so phenomenal, so majestic, so miraculous, that is being itself. And these people put you in a place where you don't feel like any of that. None of it. And it's still not the truth, because you can feel a way, and whatever your feelings are is not necessarily the facts of the matter. You understand? Right? And so I'm just saying, at this particular point in time, rejoice in the blessing of your being. And realize that whatever the condition, the situation, the circumstance, we have duty to honor the lineages to whom we've come. And for those who are history buffs, and you can name all of the great civilizations and these ones who were here and those ones that were there, you know, all that is all well and good. But the issue is that at this particular point in time, we're in a now moment of eternity that requires us to respect the laws that govern us. And living lawlessly is not going to end well. And people have become so glib with their lives that they are all right with dying. But the issue is that you don't know how long you will be dead in the realm of eternity. And being dead means that you are unable to fully participate within the presence and as a presence of this absolute and supreme intelligence that has gifted itself to you and to we and to us. And for us to think that we have no value, or for those ones to make us think that we have no value, and their whole economy is based on the foundation of what melanated people are doing all over the world. For those ones who get up and have coffee every morning, for those of us who get up and have cacao every morning and cocoa, these things are coming from the hands of melanin-dominated people. Coffee was the third largest commodity traded in the world. It ain't coming out of Europe. It's not coming out the Caucasoid Mountains. It's coming out of Africa. It's coming out of Central and South America. I'm just saying is that we're in a place and space where we really need to respect indigenous, native, and all orders of being. But if you don't love yourself, and people would think that, okay, I can smoke, I can get high, I can drink, and still love myself. But to be a detriment to yourselves is not love. Love is nurturing and nourishing and strengthening. And because we are living points of presence of God in these bodies, and then we have had no support in being godly, in being of high ethic, and being outstanding and extraordinary and tremendously gifted and loving. And so that's where and what liberation really looks like. That we can come together and create loving relationships. And it's not just marriages, it's business relationships, it's family relationships, because relationships are the things that really give our lives greater joy and peace and happiness. And a lot of times when you surrounded around people who are self-hating, and it's the ribs, it's the alcohol, it's the tobacco. I mean, these are the elements of the oppression. And those ones who rose up for civil rights and whatever rights, but they never articulated what the wrong actually is. You know, we know that it was wrong to be hung and beaten and raped and all of that. You understand, they were cutting our pregnant bellies open 450 years ago, but your pregnant bellies are still being cut open. We're losing our breasts, we're losing our wombs. Why? Because we have lost our footing upon the path of life. We have been indulging ourselves in the flesh of dead animals, the aborted fetuses of chickens, the pus and mucus of cows, artificially colored and flavored, and alcohol and tobacco and all of this stuff. And we don't really understand the beauty of what it is to be sober. You understand the light and to be vivid in your own degree of godliness, saintliness, righteousness, right alignment, attunement. And it is something worthy of our aspiration. We may want good jobs, but having a job is not purpose in being. Being purposed in self-realization and self-actualization is what we should be doing with or without a job. And when you are committed to honoring the integrity of the truth of yourself and yourselves, then it becomes easier to access the gifts that you have been given through your lineages. The ones, the professional ones and the scientists and the doctors and whatnot would have us to think that the only thing we've inherited is disease. Oh, well, you have the gene for diabetes, and you got the gene for breast cancer, you got the gene for this. I say, you have the gene for genius, okay? You understand that? But being on the meat, the dairy, the eggs, the chicken, the fish, the breakfast cereals, the Captain Crunch, and sugar frosted flakes, and cow's milk, and all of this stuff. So let's understand that 90% of all of the sickness, illness, and disease is coming from all of what we've been given since we were children. In the school system, it's like you got all this knowledge, education, research, and all of that, and then you still will not shift and change anything. And so you are being warned against, and you feel a righteous indignation to be complicit and complacent with it, because you think God has given you the free will to be enslaved to whatever appetite, desire, or passion that you have. And I'm saying, no, the intelligence of existence has given us so much of itself, and we have the opportunity to rise in the light of being these points of its presence, and to restore the truth of what the divine feminine and what the divine masculine accomplishes in life. as the perpetuators and the progenitor of lineages, and to know that we have duty, obligation, and responsibility not to just be birthing babies or aborting babies, but to really be raising and ensuring the progression of our lineages. Because there isn't anything else that you will be remembered for, really, when it comes down to it. You're not going to be remembered for your 750, 850 credit score. You understand, on all of the things that you were able to do with your credit, whether you paid it back or not, or you got forgiveness or not. You understand? I'm just saying, no, we are to be remembered by the lineages through whom we've cultivated. And whether you could have been adopted, right? And never known your biological parents. But when you look in the mirror, you're seeing them. You are seeing your inheritance. But we don't respect the absolute truth of who we are already. And I'm wanting us to do that. I'm wanting us to care, to do the internal clearing and cleansing to reverse the disease that is there. All of the fibroids and the cancer, the breast cancer, the cervical cancer, the ovarian cancer. I have seen so many vegan vegetarians deal with these issues because no one ever made a proper estimation or guesstimation as to how much nitrates, BHA, BHT, artificial colors, artificial flavors, all of this stuff was in our tissues because of what we dealt with from our childhood through our adolescence and into maturity, or better yet, our adulthood. Because being adulterated, having been fed like kids, was for the proliferation of that which would be distortion, that which would be dysfunction, that which would allow you to be in a place where you have been secured as another generation addicted to tobacco, another generation addicted to alcohol. You understand? And then, you have the cigarette companies have taken over General Mills, Kraft, Nabisco, and these ones who are producing all of these products that sit on shelves, packaged foods and whatnot. And then Dr. Mumbi was telling me that in the school system, you can't give children fruit. You can only give them that which is packaged. So you can give them candy, which is in a wrapper, but you cannot give them fresh fruit. You understand? I'm just saying the idiocy and the stupidity of the school system. Y'all need to really raise up. You don't need to have stupid people teaching your children, or administrators who are enforcing stupid rules and regulations, and then teachers who are so insecure that they will not object, and they're fully participatory. And I'm saying we have the responsibility to raise completely up. And so I am really wanting the sisterhood, those of you who listen to my program, to come to a point and place where you are all right in coming to leadership. You understand? Because if the women do not lead now, then it's a done deal. Why? Because you have white men who are making determinations still as to what is impacting us. And men of all hues. But we know that we have to raise completely up, because there is no future for our generations where the sisters and the women do not have the consciousness, the care, or the commitment to life. And where we will feed our children all of this stuff and be complicit and complacent, and then give them, start giving them baby aspirin because their heads are hurting because of their constipation. Their heads are hurting and they're having all these fevers, and they've got this huge bloated belly, and they're constipated and whatnot. That is the foundation of all cancer. And so it's starting in childhood. And so, yes, I want the sisters to raise up. I want you to really come to a point in place where you are getting activated to understand what leadership actually looks like, in you taking care of yourself and honoring yourself and stepping into your power and coming into the beauty of what it is to be a real woman who is a perpetuator of lineages, a nourisher, a nurturer, a healer, facilitator of the greater and the greatness. I'll be forward in just a bit.